Hi, Internet. Welcome to Rambling Tea Time, your favorite podcast to have over tea.
Hey everyone, what's going on?
Chris and Kim here again, as we will be, because reasons.
Okay.
Okay, so how have you been, Chris?
I have been well. Very, very well. I've been doing some stretches in the morning and I'm getting up a little bit earlier, but I've been I've been feeling very good lately. Really. My I haven't had as much bad like maybe cramps when I get up in the morning. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've been feeling good. Even though the weather's kind of chilly, which normally I hate, it's actually been okay for me this year going
Wow.
forward. I actually
I'm glad to hear that, but I've been feeling bad. Really bad.
like sick bad or
No, not like that. Just my whole body aches.
mm, mm. Gotta exercise some more.
I guess so. Anyway, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a plain black tea. Nothing fancy today. Just a plain black tea. I don't even know the brand.
What?
I don't. It's just regular ass tea bag black tea that you could buy. It's the most common type of tea that is sold. It's the most
Okay,
common
but
tea
there are
bag tea.
different kinds of
Okay,
black teas
it's
as well.
it isn't an amazing black tea. It's just a common tea bag black tea, like a Lipton or whatever. You know that
Okay,
type of
but
tea.
you don't even know the
I
brand.
don't. I just know that I just grabbed it,
Mm-hmm.
heated it, he got poured some hot water in there, let it sit, add a little bit of sugar and some creamer, and it tastes okay. It's it's nice. It's hot. It doesn't taste terrible. It's a regular black tea.
I should have done that.
Mm, why?
The tea that I am drinking, ugh, it just ruined my whole time I was having right here. It's the, what is it, Raspberry Zinger
Oh,
by Celestial Seasonings.
the fruity teas.
You know, we were talking about how there are some people who don't like the fruity teas. I'm
Yes,
actually one of those people.
yes.
But these ones, I thought it was the sugar amount that I had put into the last one,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just, are all of them like super overpowering with this sweetness? And the smell is disgusting a little bit.
Okay, I also do not like that raspberry one
Uh-huh.
of the set that they have.
Is it just I'm choosing badly?
I don't look. Not all of them going to be winners. Not all of them. I like some of
Clearly.
them. I like some of them, but I also do not like that raspberry one. It doesn't work for me.
It really doesn't work for me. The smell is kind of like a medicine
Yeah, that's what I
that
thought
I've
too.
had before
Like
that
that, those
I
cherry meditation.
suffered
Yeah,
to take.
as a kid.
Yes,
Yeah, always in that.
that smell.
Yeah,
And the taste is, again, I did not even put in a lot of sugar.
yeah. Maybe you should add
It's
more sugar.
all in my head from the one sip.
Mm.
The fruitiness is there, but it's super sweet.
Oh,
Like punching me sweetness in my head when
like a
I drink it.
candy.
Like candy? Kind of. Here's the thing. You know when you get those snacks and they're flavored with the whatever the fruit is,
Mm-hmm.
but
Whatever,
it just tastes like a whole bunch of sugar and kind of that flavor?
because that's what they are.
Yeah, this tastes like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't like it. I don't
That's fine.
like it
I
at
also
all.
don't like that. I just don't like how it tastes.
Yeah.
I just don't like how it tastes. So it's just like, this is a miss for me. I like some of the others. One or two of them I don't like. I think it's that one, and I think there's a blueberry one or something like
I
that.
haven't tried the blueberry one yet,
Oh,
but
okay.
I'll you know, I do not actually like blueberry
I know,
a lot.
and
I prefer the only way that I can really eat blueberry is the fruit straight up fresh itself. When it's in other things or other things are
or it's
flavored
artificially
or
flavored.
it's just disgusting.
Yeah. I like it. I like it in pastries and stuff like that.
I don't.
Mm. I enjoy it. Blueberry's fine.
You know, the more and more I hear myself, it seems like I'm this picky eater, but I'm not.
No, no, you're not. You're far from picky. You just don't like one or two things. That's not picky.
Okay, okay. I'm not picky, internet.
Not anymore. When you were a child, you were annoying as shit. I know that for a fact.
Uh, yeah.
I mean, children normally are picky-ish. You don't want to eat anything that's not like candy, but you were weird picky.
I think that I'm still that way though. That's why I say
Maybe, but not to the extent.
you say that, but I think that I'm more picky today.
Really? I
Yeah.
kind of disagree, but you do you. It's only when you really think about it, it's only a few things that you don't like to eat when you think about it. And that's for a lot of people that's the norm.
It's not even that I won't eat them. You know, it's the way they're prepared
Ah, yeah,
or what
okay,
they're
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
or how I've had them before, or my bad experiences with them and not wanting to have them ever again.
yeah. I understand that.
It's really mainly the way they're prepared.
Ah, okay. Then
Yeah.
that just means you should probably just deal with those things, like I guess blueberries. What else do you don't like when people or like just you prefer to do it yourself? What type of foods of
Hash browns.
that's
All the
oddly
hash browns I
special.
ever had tasted like dirt.
When other people do it for you, or if you buy it or something like
Yeah,
that. Oh,
all of them. Like I could taste the dirt.
I mean it's potatoes
Yeah, I
and
could taste the dirt.
oh, when you
And
do them though.
I'm not saying, oh, it was a very natural, earthy flavor. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it tasted like dirt.
Oh,
Straight up dirt. And I have actually eaten dirt as a kid. Did we have this conversation?
yes, we've had this
Okay.
conversation
I didn't
multiple
like
times.
mean to eat it, but you know, kids eat stuff. And that I remember what dirt tastes like. And when I have had hash browns,
Tastes like dirt.
it tasted like dirt. And here's the thing. It's not like I went in thinking all hash browns gonna taste like dirt. The first time I had hash browns, it just tasted like that. And other times I've had it and it still had like that, yeah,
Dirt.
kind of not
Like,
nice
like
taste.
somebody got the most rusty potatoes
Yeah,
and they ain't
yeah.
gonna wash them.
Maybe they did wash them and they rubbed off the dirt into it.
Maybe your tongue just picks up the potato taste
Here,
strong
but I can make hash browns.
and they don't taste like dirt.
Exactly. So why is that?
I don't know. I mean, I've had hash browns from other places that I haven't had this issue. I know what you're talking about.
You've had that taste
I've
though.
had that taste where the potato definitely was not cleaned or it wasn't like cooked properly.
Exactly.
It
I
still
haven't
tastes kind
had
of
the
raw.
hash browns at the good places that you have. Next time, share with me.
Mm, okay. Oh, okay, fine. Maybe next time. That's fine.
Yeah.
How did we get to hash browns? Oh, right. You're talking about foods and stuff that
Yes.
you. Anything else
Yes.
you were picky about that you just don't like how people cook?
Um, I don't know about people cooking them. I can't think about anything right now, but I know that I didn't like tomatoes. Do you remember that?
I have a friend who doesn't like tomatoes.
But I eat tomatoes now. It's not a big deal.
I know.
It's weird as well because I'm not sure why I didn't like tomatoes. I asked myself, was it because sometimes, you know, tomatoes have inside of them the slimy part
I
with the
actually love
seeds and
that
stuff?
part of the tomato.
And I know that it can't be that. It can't be that.
And it wasn't that you didn't
Because
like
I
vegetables
love
either.
okra.
Oh
And okra
God,
is like super
okra's
uber
disgusting.
slimy. Exactly. So it couldn't be the sliminess that turned me off. I'm not sure what it
Is it just
is.
the taste of tomatoes?
I'm honestly not sure. I have no idea why I
Because I
didn't
remember
like them.
when we were younger, the whole thing was you liked cucumbers
And you like tomatoes,
and
and we didn't like
I
the
we didn't
either.
like the other for some
Right.
reason. But now as adults, I know I don't mind eating cucumbers at all. I don't
You
like
don't
pickles,
so much. You
and they're in
don't
the
so
same family.
much like cucumbers, though.
I I didn't really like cucumbers a lot growing up. I really
Right, I'm
didn't.
saying you don't so much like them now, though.
I don't mind eating them. They aren't a vegetable I go out of my way to eat,
Right.
but I don't have an issue eating cucumbers. I vehemently hate pickles and anything of that sort, though.
I'd eat pickles, but I
I hate
wouldn't.
them. I hate them on
I
whenever.
wouldn't grab a pickle to eat as a snack, something like that. You know, they give you the snack, not the
What are we
snack. They
talking about?
give you the pickle alongside your lunch here
Oh, you mean like in
in
school?
school.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
never could understand that, but they do.
That's just a
And
thing there for a snack for whoever, for your meals or
people
whatever.
enjoy it,
I don't
as I
understand it.
have
I hate pickles.
seen myself, but it's not something that I would take as, the side dish to my,
Lunch.
I don't know, chicken sandwich.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, neither do I.
I've been given jars of pickles as gifts, and I'm always like, thank you,
Yeah, but you know what we
but
do with them? We cut
why?
them up and put them into our dishes. That's
I
what we do.
know,
But
but
we don't
then
just eat them, like, we don't just open the jar and eat it as a snack in midday, like
no, no,
between
no.
lunch and
I
dinner
mean,
or something.
I still don't like pickles in food when it's like cut up or whatever. I still don't like it. I
Oh,
still don't like
really?
it. I really don't. I know there's numerous things that I've eaten over the years that have pickles in them, but I still do not like pickles. It is
Hmm.
one of those things where it's like I can't eat it doesn't mean that I like it.
Right.
You know, it's just I don't know something about the process. It just
Yeah, it's like with the
tastes this.
blueberry for me. Any baked product that has in blueberry. It's not that I can't eat it or I won't eat it, but I don't like it.
Yeah,
The taste is it's weird to
which is
me.
weird. I really love blueberry muffins
Ugh. Makes me want to throw up.
and blueberry pancakes.
Gross, 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 gross. Everything gross.
Okay, this is great to me.
I
It
think
tastes
it's the
good.
flour around it,
You mean
around the
the mixture of
blueberry.
the two flavors
I
like that?
think so.
Hmm. Great to me, I guess. You just don't like
Yeah. Right then. So
it.
let's move away from our food peculiarities. What were we going to talk about today?
Um, Today we were going to talk about, I guess, tropes and genres in media overall. Though
Right.
we've had like this kind of conversation in, I think, in other
I think we'll
podcasts,
continue to have this conversation as long as TV shows and films and anything really to
continues
watch
to
has
exist.
continued to be made.
Exactly, and I think both of us decided to go and search out for our own tropes.
Yeah.
I know we might have a few that might interlap with each other because
Hmm.
we've both talked about this type of stuff over the years and things like that.
Yeah.
So I know this is on your list, so let's just get it right out of the way.
What's it?
The first trope, amnesia.
Yeah. Amnesia.
Yes. And I visited TV tropes today to make sure that I got the name for some of these proper, or just to see the different variations on how these traits work.
Hmm.
And because there's so many ways to use amnesia, and many of them I do not care for.
Right. So overall, I hate it. Um,
You hate
I
having
hate the
stories
trope amnesia. There's only one way,
that you're
in my
happy with
opinion,
it.
that it works.
How?
It's when the show or the book or the whatever it is, whatever the story is, it starts off with the character having amnesia. And we go along with the character to find out what is going on in their lives, how did they come to have amnesia, and we try to find out where the story is going along with them.
Okay, you prefer the fresh out of the fish out of water, sorry, type of scenario when it comes to like amnesia. Then the character has no idea what's going on. Neither do
Right.
we.
Right. Neither
Right?
do we. It has to be neither do we.
Okay.
If it is in the middle of the show or wherever it is, after we found out a
This
good
is more.
deal
Hold on.
about the character.
This is more or less how it. We're talking about it from the point of view of of a main character or maybe a side main character. I'm just saying because the POV from which the whoever is the amnesiac person it might change depending how you
I
like.
just didn't I say the main
Ah,
character?
sorry, my bad,
If
my bad.
we're talking about amnesia and it's a side character that has it, then it'll probably not be a big deal because we
Mm.
will not see most of the story from their point of view in the first place.
Okay, okay. So it's not that big of an issue if it's in that type of scenario.
Will it? Christopher, we won't see the story from their point of view most of the time if it's a side character. If it's a main side character or a main character, then you can bet that it'll be the whole thing.
There'll be a big deal about it. Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to clarify because I didn't want it to be that you just hate amnesia like whenever it shows up. I just wanted to know if other instances of it, maybe not for like a main character or side character, or maybe if people have to deal with people who have amnesia, how like, or if you
I
just
also think it's a problem dealing with someone having the amnesia as the main character. Let's say the main character is dealing with someone else who has amnesia,
okay.
and that person is a main person in their life. You understand?
Yeah, but yeah,
They'll be
yeah.
central to the story somehow. If
I,
we're starting from the beginning,
yeah.
though,
You
of the
prefer it.
story,
You just prefer it that because it's so much easier, I guess, get invested because you nor the character knows what is going on, and there's a mystery to finding out.
right? It's best when the audience is able to get on the train and go along with it.
Mm,
If the audience already had been on the train
mm.
and then all of a sudden,
A character just gets amnesia.
exactly, and then we have to continue on the train line when our stop came up, though. We were ready to get off at this station, but now we have to stay for the ride.
Yeah.
It's no
It
fun.
also depends, I guess, on how the amnesia is played up for. Because, like a
Like,
lot of time, sometimes in maybe gag or comedy mangas, it's just like a one episode type thing. This person forgot how to do X, or they got bumped on their head, and all of a sudden they forget for the episode. Then they spend the entire episode trying to get the person to remember who they are, why they are important to whoever or whatever. That type of scenario
okay. And
is more
sometimes
comedic.
that could be
Amnesia,
funny, but it
yes,
can also be annoying if
yes,
it's too long.
I know.
If it's just lasting one episode or one chapter, or, if the
Yeah, most of
story
the time if it's
isn't
comedic or it's like for a gag for like for that week or whatever, it's just a
right, if it
episode.
isn't too long and the audience doesn't have to suffer, I feel, then it'll be fine. But
Yeah.
if it's extended,
So let's set up a
uh,
scenario. So main character has been going on their journey for however long, and in the middle of the arc, they have to fight the big bad. They get hit by the big bad, and then all of a sudden, or no, the big bad messes with their memories using some means whatsoever, and they now have no memory of who they are. Then you have to deal with the situation of everybody around the main character helping them, or we're going to go down incredibly different arc of the main character trying to relearn who they are. That becomes frustrating as a reader or a
yeah,
watcher because you've already seen a person get to a
right.
point
I don't want to
and
see
then
them have
they
to pick
essentially
their
have to
life up
then
again.
they have to do it again. Or that's I agree with you. The depending on how long the amnesia arc is or
Yeah.
how central it is to the plot line of the story, depending on how far you've seen the main character go, however long the length of time the amnesia cannot be too long.
Yeah.
You cannot have character to then have to essentially or they essentially become a different person altogether.
Oh my God.
You want to know bringing that
That
up.
that happens,
I
but
hate I
I
hate when
don't
they do
like
that
that.
for villains. I kind of hate when
The villain
villain
was
has
a
done a
horrible
whole bunch
person,
of nefarious shit.
and then
They
they get
somehow
amnesia
yeah,
or somehow they're brainwashed or
Yeah,
whatever things happen and they forget who they really
they
were,
forget who they
and
were.
now they're this new reborn person and we're all supposed to be like, yeah, like this guy. Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand the idea, but I hate it.
This is what I
I
think.
absolutely
When
hate
you
when,
do it in a
because
way
no,
where the
because then
person's memories were taken from them, I don't feel I don't feel connected to that person still because they didn't come about their new character on their
you
own.
want to know why they do that though. Whenever you see a villain loses their memory, it's normally to fast track them onto a redemption arc. All the time, all the bloody time. It's always to fast track a redemption arc for so and so character, and I absolutely hate it.
I think, do villains need to be redeemed?
Not all of them. Some of them, if it's they're what they're doing is evil, can be relatable, and you can see why they're doing something like that. Maybe there's a redemption arc, but
That
for like,
brings me to,
no,
that's one of my tropes as well.
oh,
It was that when the villain has a sad or dark past, right? When they're
mm,
troubled,
no,
there's that trope,
yeah, yeah,
that they'll become this bad person because of all the horrible things that they went through. And I
yes.
think, okay, lots of
They're
people have
literally,
gone through the horrible
because
things,
you want to know the funny thing is,
like the
main character,
worst
like,
things.
if most of the time that character, the villain, can sometimes be the same thing as the main character in a different story.
Yeah,
They've gone through a whole bunch of horrible
I've
shit, so they
seen,
turn and they
yeah.
do horrible shit in turn, and we cheer for them because the same reason.
I do not like that trope.
That horrible stuff means that you can do horrible stuff as a villain. But you can
No,
get
that
redeemed.
because of your past, it means that you become the bad guy, basically. Or you'll do evil stuff.
I don't. I guess I understand what you mean, but the like actions do shape people. Not everybody comes out the same way.
Yeah,
I don't really think
not
that's a trope in a
everyone
sense, but
comes out that way.
but some people do,
Right. I wish they would stop saying that the villain is like that because of
because
their
they
past,
have some
though.
dark, sad past. Therefore, they're the villain.
Yeah,
You just
that
want a villain who's like,
I'm evil because I'm evil because I'm evil.
yes,
I just don't like people,
you prefer.
something like
I
that.
will say I agree. We've seen it's been lacking, I guess, in a lot too.
This is it. A villain
Who's just
who has
evil?
no reason. No reason. It's just because. They just do just because. Because they can.
They will get their goals through violence, and they do not care who you are,
Or they'll
whatever.
just do whatever, however they want. It doesn't matter how it affects anybody else. That kind of villain. But I think people can't
You know who this reminds me
don't they
of?
don't want to write that into their story because how do you connect?
Yoshikage Kira from JoJo Part 4 reminds me of that. It's pretty much that. He does everything. He lives his life well. He tries to stay out of trouble. He is a fucking murderer who has a women hand fetish, but he makes sure that he does everything, that he doesn't draw attention, and he just does what he wants to live a good life. He just wants to be left alone and live his life. He is a villain. He is a terrible human being, but he does not care. He doesn't really have a sob story either, because
Right, a villain I think doesn't need a sub
no,
story.
they don't.
There are people out there
Who are
who are
straight up evil.
just, but
You don't have to
um
have a sad backstory. I think we were talking about sad backstories because of the whole redemption. Normally, when a villain has a redemption arc, there's two. They do the whole. They had reasons for doing it, and then they show you. I just wanted a world of peace, and to get peace, I decided to use violence. Blah blah blah. Which I'm reading a couple of things where the main character is exactly that, and I am enjoying it. But I do hate how quickly other characters sometimes forget how evil of former a former villain in quotation marks turns out to be, or how
Yeah.
quick some people are to give redemption to somebody who was evil
Yeah, yeah.
before, because there's a greater evil now and we need to put our, you notice it, there's a greater evil now and we need to put our differences aside and fight X. But then the all the other terrible things villain A did kind of just gets forgotten by the main cast, or the fucking story ends without resolving that after they beat the big evil.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, don't, no, that person needs to go to jail. That person needs to be tried for fucking crimes against humanity because of what they did. No, it doesn't. Just because you forgot the memories of you committing crimes does not mean that you did not commit those crimes. You do not
Exactly.
deserve a redemption arc because your memory is gone. No, you killed and raped and pillaged a village or whatever, or a town, or you killed somebody and you stole their jewelry. You committed a crime. And just because your memories of the event are gone don't mean that you didn't do them. So whenever I see that come up, I'm just like, so because they have no memory now of the crimes they did, that means they're a different person? No. They just don't remember that they did something evil. I hate it. But yeah, they were evil before, but because they forgot who they used to be, they're a good guy now. I'm like, that's not how this works. That's no, no. They still need to pay for the crimes that they've done.
We need, not we,
We
but we need, not in real life,
or what?
but in stories, a villain who is just evil for no reason.
I mean, that can get kind of boring, isn't it? If there's no reason behind your villain being evil, you kind of stop. You kind of don't care about them in a way. You need to have something. You need there needs to be something. Like Kira's whole thing is that he just wants to live his life and he wants to avoid um bringing any drama to him, but he still kills and takes women's hands because he's a weirdo. But his whole point, he's gonna live his life and he's gonna do it no matter what. He's gonna continue being an evil bastard no matter what, so he can live his life happily in his weird twisted way, right? So there needs to, the bad guys always has some motivation for what they do. You just want somebody whose motivation isn't tied to some tragic backstory, or they were
Yes.
hurt where they were a kid,
Yes.
or they grew up in a certain family situation that made them twisted or whatever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I understand that. I understand not wanting somebody who's like, I'm here to do this because I want to steal some shit so I can buy some shit or build some shit or do some shit. Or you just want a psychopath, crazy person, kind of like the Joker. So, I mean, there are types of villains and like that. So you just gotta look for it, I guess. Some stories aren't all one dimensional, I guess. There are plenty of villains out there who fall into the just being evil for being for the lulls, as they say. Anyways, let's go on to another trope. This is on TV tropes. It's called cannot spit it out. Essentially, characters have information that would indeed help a situation or explain why something is happening, but they never said anything,
I have something similar to that.
or and maybe their lack of actual communication leads to worse stuff
I have
actually
that as
happen.
well.
Yeah.
I have inability to communicate
Yeah.
properly or miscommunication.
Yes. And you see this a lot in comedy because it's mostly time played for laughs and gags. That's one thing. That's fine.
That's
It's
one thing,
it's
but
played in romance stuff a lot where the character. Oh, tell me you haven't seen this scene. Character, they go out. This is mostly, yeah, two characters. They go out.
mm-hmm.
They're on a date, and somehow this is mostly like Japanese stuff. There are fireworks going on, right? And character A decides it's the right time to confess to character B how their feelings for them. And as soon as they go to say something, the fireworks go off, and the character does not hear them at all. So and they don't say anything after the fireworks go off, even if the other character asks them, "What, you were saying something? I didn't hear you. The big firework went off," and they don't say anything about it
Yes,
because
I do
they fall.
believe.
Then they fall into another trope, miss the moment or miss the
Right.
time
I
for
do
some
believe I've
reason.
seen this happen a gazillion times.
Yes, it is common as
It
shit.
is the typical, what do you call it? Festival art
Yes, yes, yes. The festival art
or episode
or
or whatever it
episode,
is. It only lasts a short.
whatever it
The
is.
fireworks go
The
off and the
car open.
person goes to say, I love you or I
Mm-hmm.
like you or whatever, and the other doesn't hear. And then they don't even try again. They don't try again.
No, they
That
don't.
pisses me off.
That is one way the whole can't spit it out I have an issue with. Another issue is when something that I've recently been reading, main character is dealing with shit. Where is, I think it's, in fact, it's not spoilers. I don't want to spoil it because even though we do spoil a lot of shit on this podcast, the main character is dealing with something. It's a martial artist manga, and he's dealing with some key or whatever in his body.
Hmm.
Us, the readers, understand that the reason why he's acting agitated and weird is because this weird key was taught to him in his body, and he doesn't know what's going on. He literally does not understand what is going on with him,
Hmm.
right? There are people who understand what is going on with him. They are literally with him and talking to him, but they're trying to get him agitated, but and then get him mad at him for not understand what is going on with him. But they haven't explained to him why this event or this phenomenon is happening to him.
Okay, so I think this is bad communication on both sides because
No, no, he has
he,
asked.
no, he doesn't know what's going on with him, you said, and he
Exactly.
hasn't told
They
them that he
know.
feels a certain
They know.
way.
No, 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 no. They know what is going on with him. The reason he's with them is because they discovered what was going on with him, and he's still kind of confused exactly. They haven't explained it enough to him that this is a situation going on in your body. This is why you might seem to feel a certain way around other people whatsoever.
Okay, so what is the can't spit it out part of this then?
They aren't just spitting out the information in a way that he understands at all. Because of no real, there hasn't been a real reason why they haven't said anything. It's just they're not they're waiting for him to figure it out himself. That's it. But they know that he would get over the hurdle. They literally know that he would get over the hurdle if they just explain to him what is going on. There's literally a scene where two of the, I'll call them elders, two of the elders understand what is going on with the main character, and he's getting irritable and angry because they literally won't explain to him why he's there and what they can do to help him. And one elder is like, huh? You really don't think, you don't understand what's going on? You're such a like common class, that type of behavior, even though they were there to help him. They are there, literally there to help him. And they don't. And I have no clue why. I don't know if this falls into can't spit it out or just being a dick. Because the person you're supposed to help is in front of you and you know what's the issue with them. You never explained it. Why? Like, why? There's the only reason I could come to is that they want him to figure out for himself, but he doesn't even know what's going on. See, no, it frustrates the reader who knows what's going on. It just frustrates the reader. And I'm
Okay.
frustrated right now
Okay.
at the thing. Whenever I think about
Clearly.
that situation, I'm like, but you guys, you know. And there's been other situations with Can't Spit It Out where a character not just saying one or two lines, leads to somebody else getting killed
Yeah.
down the road, or a situation being blown way out of proportion because somebody, you know what to say? Never mind. It's nothing. And I'm
But
like,
I asked
no,
you this, and we
speak.
had these conversation about miscommunication and different content.
It's
And
mostly
I
done for
say to
drama.
you, does this happen in real
Yes,
life?
it does. Miscommunication constantly, every day, stuff happens. Yes, communication fucks over things. I'm not gonna go into details of what I was gonna
That's
say.
why I always try to be clear in what I'm saying,
I
because
know.
I don't want people to misunderstand at least what I am saying.
Yeah.
And if I don't understand what they are saying, then I ask them again over and over in different ways to
To
get
clarify,
it clearly, you know?
I feel like my rambling was unclear.
It was. Uh,
Maybe I have a case of cannot spit it out.
yeah, I am not sure if that is a case of cannot
It
spit it
might
out.
not be, but it might be it might be more miscommunication
Yeah,
or something.
miscommunication is on my list as a trope that I don't like.
It's mostly used for drama in drama situations to cause it's
To
just
cause drama.
to cause drama because the author knows or the writer knows or the show person knows, director or whatever knows that this person saying something clears up a lot of nonsense that these characters need to go through for tragedy or drama or whatever. It's just like sometimes when I'm watching something, I'm just like, speak. Just speak. Just open your mouth and explain why you were there with
Right.
so and so.
Explain precisely.
Just explain. It's
Because
not that hard.
sometimes they'll just say things, and that's where the miscommunication. They don't say, they're not clear about what they're saying. They don't explain enough for the other party to understand.
And I get why it's done. I understand that. Let me just say, tropes aren't bad. It's just, you see
They
some of them.
elongate frustrating
Yes.
situations, though.
Yes. Elongate frustrating situations. That.
That's why some people drop things midway, because if they see that something is going on for too long,
Yeah.
they won't want to stick around.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if they see crap at the beginning of the show, they're just like, nope, fuck this, I'm out. And some people love that. Some people love the drama. And I love drama sometimes. But I hate when the drama is fueled by miscommunication.
Yeah.
It's like I rather I like tragedy or whatever, but I hate where it is because this is another trope, miscommunication that kills. Essentially,
Yeah,
this
where
leading
someone ends up getting
dying
dead.
because one person doesn't open their mouth to say something
Yeah,
that could
yeah.
have saved the life. Oh, you want to know another thing? Something about communication. Whenever a character doesn't put out their feelings for
Hmm.
a character, and then the character dies as well, like literally later, so they never
Uh,
got to say what they wanted to say,
I
and
actually saw the opposite of
it's
that.
always played up for
I
dramatic
saw the
effect.
opposite of that. The guy raised the flag and then died. He raised the flag and died, rightfully
Wow,
so. So I just watched it,
what does he talk about?
Sweet Home.
Ah, right, you're telling me about this.
So, ooh,
You don't
this
want to
is
spoil
going
it.
to be spoilers straight up.
put
This
a
is that kind of show.
put a thing from whenever this is till whatever time code for people who don't want to spoil it on Sweet Home.
It's out already though, the whole
I know, but I
show.
mean,
It just came out in 2020.
somebody who or is listening or whatever might just say spoilers from now till whenever.
Okay,
Go.
spoiler starts now for Sweet Home. So the guy tells the girl who was injured
Okay.
that
This.
he likes her,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah. Cool.
And then he rushes off to deal with the monster and gets killed. He raised the flag,
Oh wow.
and I am upset at that scene actually. This has nothing to do with tropes right now, and the spoiler is still ongoing, but I feel he did not have to die. He played a trope himself. He was like the sacrifice or
Ah.
the
Okay.
warrior. The warrior sacrifice.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
he was. He
Oh,
was
okay.
the warrior and he sacrificed himself.
Oh,
But in
okay.
that scene, they made it seem like all the other characters were so filled with fear that they couldn't attack the monster.
Okay.
Right? They were like in this shock and they couldn't even move their hands. There was this girl with the bow and arrow. You're telling me that she couldn't even shoot the bow and arrow at the monster in his head? You're telling me that
Did the monster
the
have a skill called fair, and did he fair everyone, or did
no,
literally everyone
no,
just shit their
no. This
pants?
this is one of those moments. I really think that the death was
A useless death.
unnecessary.
Oh.
And I would have liked to seen his character go forward actually.
Maybe he'll come back. Yeah.
He could have come back if he had been turning, but he wasn't turning.
He,
So no, he's dead. And then one of the guys, well, he's like the leader guy. He came, and the warrior guy is what we're gonna call him. He shouts at him to throw like the Molotov thing that the other guy had, which he did not throw on the monster. He screams to him to throw it, and he pulls the monster back into the elevator. And the guy who's the leader, he throws it, and everyone is like sad and they're still having this shock fair scene. And I'm thinking there were at least two, three people there who could have done something to help him fight the monster. He wouldn't be dead, in my opinion. I think that's one of those scenes that was like, okay, we have to kill off
we have to make
someone.
we have to make this situation seem really really dangerous. So everybody is going to be an idiot for like 5 minutes while this character gets killed for
Or
reason
filled with fear and
filled with
can't
fear.
move.
Have they fought mother monsters before?
Anyhow, we're not going to talk
That
about Sweet
okay.
Home anymore. Spoiler ends now. Right then.
Hmm.
So,
What are we talking about now?
um, communication? No,
No,
we were
we
talking
moved on
about
to
telling the
the.
person that I loved
Oh right, that
you.
whole communication thing, that dramatic communicate. What's it called? I don't know. I don't have it here. I don't know the trope name for it or whatever to call it. But character announces love
Hmm.
only. No, not character announces love. Not what you were talking
They
about.
tried to tell the
They
person that
try
they
to tell
love
someone
them,
that they love
and
them.
when they go to, the
The person
person
dies,
dies.
or oh well, or a different situation where this is the Flash. This is a good one. Do you remember the beginning of Game of Thrones?
Um,
This isn't
yeah.
about love, but this is all about how a character doesn't say anything to a character, but they never get to say the information that they promise to the character. In the beginning of Game of Thrones, uh,
I'm
Ned
acting like I remember
Ned
right now.
Stark tells Jon Snow because Jon wants to know about his mother, and
Hmm.
Jon is now going up to the
The
wall.
wall.
So Ned has to go and he executes some deserters from the wall, and he talks to Jon, saying, one of these days I'll come and visit you up by the wall, and I'll be able to tell you about your mother." Ned never gets to tell him
Right,
about
because
his
he
mother.
got killed.
He never
Is
did.
it King's
He
Landing?
got yeah, he got his head cuts off in King
Right,
Nan.
right.
It's those situations. I can't remember the trope name for that, but that happens so often. It is not even funny. Character is like, "I'll speak to you later. I'll speak to you again." Whenever I see that, it's like that person is never going to show up again.
Yeah.
Whenever it's like I have this central piece of information that I know you've asked for or you've needed or something to resolve a situation, they never show up. They die. The moment I see that, I see that now as a death flag. I'll tell you later the next time I see you, and then you never
The
see them
yeah,
again
the
because they
telling
got
you I
killed.
love you and then rushing off to fight is also a death flag. We should just have one about death flags later.
Ugh, death
I love
flags.
death flags.
Look, so many things count as death flags. It's not funny. Anyways,
I
what
have another
another
trope.
one of your tropes that you want to speak about?
It is the join or die trope.
Join or die.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, explain.
It was also in Sweet Home. It's when the well, they could be any character really. They could be the main character or the side character, any kind of character,
Yeah.
but they are given an ultimatum by
Mm.
another party to join them
Or
or
die.
to die or to watch everybody who was with them die,
Yeah, that's so common.
basically.
Yeah,
I think
extremely common. Yeah.
it's so cliche. I really don't like things that are cliche or predictable. That's why when a show comes along and does something that I cannot
expect it to do.
It's just
But I
amazing.
mean, tropes and cliches,
The
you can't
same
write a
thing.
story without tropes or cliches. I know, but I do know that we are listing the ones that we do find
Right, but I don't like the
annoying.
join or die one.
Yeah,
I
I
don't really
understand.
like it.
You just don't like it?
No, that's I just there's no like huge reason and it's not a big issue, the
For you.
join or die
It's just
thing.
that you've
But
seen
I
it.
just yeah,
It's
I've seen
just
it. It's not fun. It doesn't
it's
impact anyone really. It's just
it's more of how everybody devolves into pat mentality whenever shit when the world end kind of situation. You see that a lot in those type of stories, you
hmm.
know, when everybody's out for themselves and like zombie stuff. Most of the time you see that in that type of apocalyptic fiction type of thing. It's very common because it makes sense. Join our group or die. Give us your shit or die. That type of situation.
Yeah.
Because everybody's fighting for survival. You see a lot of survival stuff. It makes sense there most of the time. You can also have join or die type of stuff in, I guess, school situations with like bullying, I guess. You see that kind of too.
Um,
You either fall in line and listen to the head honcho, or you get your ass beaten up a lot. See, also there you see that type of it's not join or die, but join and get your ass beaten for the whole time of your school experience. Doesn't sound very fun, but yeah. So I guess it's my turn. This is very specific. Cryptically unhelpful answer. This is a extremely common anything.
cryptically.
Sorry, cryptically unhelpful answer. Character gives information that is very helpful, but they give it in such a way that nobody understands what the fuck they're saying, and they never clarify at all. This one is sometimes funny to me, but because most of the time the person giving the information is like a wise old master or somebody
Right,
who's
so
gone
this one
through a lot.
also leads to
Like
miscommunication.
yeah, a lot of these are miscommunication things, the issues that I have. But the critically unhelpful answer kind of feels like the person goes out of their way to not be straightforward. They know what they're saying is useful, but they're doing it in such a way that they know that you won't figure out what the fuck they just said at all. It's kind of like a very smug way to say yes. It's great sometimes when, and it doesn't you overuse in my opinion, but it's one of those that's just like, why you gotta be like that? you know? Why can't you
Like
just
clearly this person is being a douchebag right now.
yes in answer in such a way, and then you have a character who's like explain it in English,
Yeah.
that type of way.
And then they just swagger off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, that's just a small one, just something a niggle. It isn't really,
Yeah, like my join our dying one.
it
It
isn't
wasn't
yeah, it
really.
isn't the most annoying one, but
Yeah.
it can be if used if the character shows up constantly and it's dropped or the character kind of like gives riddles in a way, but it's not looking like funny in such a way. It's not like something. I just hate it. Let me just say it. I'm
I
right now.
agree.
I'm having cannot spit it out because I can't get my point across. Point. I can't get my point across clearly.
Hmm.
But yeah, just being unhelpful with the right answer to a person. Don't look at the list you have.
I only have one more thing on my list,
Okay, that's
and it's
fine.
something that I actually like.
Oh, this is a trope that you like.
Yeah.
Okay, shoot.
It's the fate worse than death.
That has many different types of things. What do you mean by fate worse than death?
Well, the person,
What?
let's say, torture
Oh,
or dying at all the different ways, and it's usually torture where they can still feel pain.
yes, yeah.
So
It's also
things,
used in when people mess with people's minds in different scenarios. They
yes,
break their
yes.
mental spirit essentially.
Yeah, but I like that because I think that some people should just not be allowed to just die. It is
Oh,
too
wow,
kind
it's too
just
kind.
dying.
Nah, I understand. It's too easy to let some people go away with just
Yeah.
a simple death.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have prisons and shit and throw people in jail for hundreds of years until they die. But
Uh-huh.
you want to take it a step further for
I
those that.
have an example, but this is not an example of one that I like.
This is an example of one that you hate.
This is an example of one that I just said. In Supernatural,
Okay. Oh,
so Sam fell into hell and
I
he was
remember this.
tortured
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah, for a
like
while.
millennia or something
Yeah, I remember.
by the devil, by Lucifer.
Yeah.
And Dean, the same thing happened to him, right? Where he was tortured in
Yep.
hell. They said it was 30 years.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, and
time
then
works
he
differently.
gave out and started to torture others as well in hell. But that one, see, that's they didn't get to die.
Yeah.
That is the fate worse than death.
Okay.
So theirs was torture,
Okay. I
you
guess.
know?
I guess. Well, fate worse than death. That can also be something like, I guess, like rape or anything like that
Yeah.
situation.
I think living forever
And
is a
being.
fate worse than death. Being
Oh, you mean
immortal,
immortal?
really.
It depends on
Some
the
people think it's
immortality.
great, but if you're immortal, you're definitely a lonely person if there's no one else.
I. I mean, it depends
Being
because.
lonely is worse than death.
Oh my god.
That is a fate worse than death.
Oh
It
my
is, in
god.
my opinion, don't you think?
Uh, yeah, but some people like being alone.
Being alone and being lonely
Okay,
aren't the same
fair,
thing,
fair,
though.
fair, fair enough. That's very true. But yeah, I get your point. And let's talk about immortality then, because you just brought it up,
What about it?
and you said that being alone and stuff like that. But it depends on how they do the immortality. Just because you're immortal does not mean that you will be alone or that
Right,
you
I
won't
just said
enjoy being a long live person.
if they're the only person,
Oh,
it
you mean
will
like this is a
be.
scenario where nobody else is around?
Right, okay, if they go through, say you're immortal,
Yes.
and everyone around you will pass on and other people will come,
Yes. And
but
you
you'll
will move on
still be a lonely person because there'll not be anyone who
and then
can
live.
stay with you
But I
for
mean,
as long as you are alive.
I guess the mental toll of living long will eventually get to a person who can't die. I think you ever watch Highlander?
Yeah, no.
I think there was a, I can't remember if it was a movie or if there was the Highlander show. But what the character did is every couple of years he would disappear.
Oh wait, I did watch this.
He would disappear and he would pass down his stuff to himself,
Himself. I know.
right?
I know.
Right, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I know.
And then the person be like, "Oh, I just look like my grandfather or my
Right.
father." Normally skipping a generation so that it looks more convincing.
Right.
Like I found out my grandfather died, and I'm here to inherit his things. Oh, I look like him. That type of shit. And he was getting on pretty okay with his life. I guess he was still kind of lonely, but I think because so much stuff has shown that, oh, just because you're immortal, you're probably gonna be sad. I don't think that that might be the case. I don't think so. Sure, maybe
You only say that because you want to be immortal.
I do want to be immortal,
I
Kim.
know about your plans to live
I
forever.
I do. Don't tell anyone though. Don't tell anyone about my plans to live forever. But I don't think that it's necessarily that bad of a thing. I do
Okay, I was
understand.
just giving an
I
example.
know,
What
I
is
know,
wrong
I
with
know.
you?
I just wanted to like talk about it some more because there's you can be probably immortal and be happy with it. If you're a normal human being, though, it kind of would get tiring. I won't lie. Probably seeing people do the, probably seeing civilizations rise and fall constantly. Maybe having kids and then aging them, you probably would get tired of that for sure. You probably wouldn't want to have leave any people behind if you can even leave people behind, because then you're just that attachment. I think though that being immortal will be okay. I don't think if no sorry when I become immortal that I'll have any issues with being lonely. I don't think so. Anyways, we've gone on enough, and you say you're finished with your tropes that you had. I
Yeah.
still have a few more. Let's see. Mary Sue and Gary Sue. You know them, or Marty Stew. You know, perfect character type of thing. The character is the most perfect character. Everybody loves them. Everybody wants to get to know them. That type of character. They're the strongest. They're the nicest. They're the most humblest character ever.
Oh,
That
you
type
mean
of.
those characters that I can't stand?
Well, the reason why I brought this up is because you see it somewhat showing up nowadays in the isekai type of genre. With that, the character gets a number one. They get all these special powers. Number one, and then number two, they use them to be like the nicest, bestest. Everybody loves them. Everybody
I
trusts them.
think that
They
these
aren't
Mary Sue
bad,
are okay, so
but
that trope is really only seen from one perspective. It's a perception trope.
the trope does not care about the perception from viewpoints of others or thing. The character might not even think themselves to be perfect, but they essentially are. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have anything to do with perception. What they do hits the notes of being maybe a Gary or a Mary Sue. They're just they're too perfect. They're extremely
Okay.
perfect. Like a perfect example, I would say Katarina kind of is a a Mary Stu from the Death Flag villainous thing. Remember? She kind of is
I don't
a
think she
Mary Stu.
is.
She kind of is. She does. She doesn't. But everyone falls for her in that sense. Everyone wants to be around her. Everyone wants to be with her. She literally creates a harem,
Okay,
a
but she
mixed
isn't
gender harem around her.
perfect.
She
They
isn't,
don't
but
think that she's perfect.
she. You're missing the point.
No, you aren't being
Clear, because
clear.
I can't spit it out. But when it comes to Mary Sue and Gary Sue, the character or the main or female, whatever, they come across as being exceptionally perfect in every single way to most people or onlookers to them. And like you said, it's a character type that you don't like because they're just too perfect. They're just this gleaming. It's kind of when you read those manga where there's that one girl in the entire school and she's like considered the goddess of the school, that type of shit, or that one guy who's considered the most perfect person in the school. It's that type of stuff, and you see it a lot with the isekai type stuff nowadays as well, because the characters just get all this overpowered powers, then they get sent to the world, then they help the poor, they help some slaves, then those people follow them, then they call them masters. Like, oh, don't call me master, just call me by my name. They're the most perfect person from viewpoints from those people in the world and from us as a main character. We might see into them and realize that they're not a perfect
Right, that's
person,
what I was saying. You're
but
saying it's
they
not.
behave, they are perfect in a sense. They everybody likes them, everybody gets along with them, they go off their way to do everything. They are humble people. They even have a magical charisma that pulls people into them in a way. You know how that stuff is. They might not be perfect in that sense, but their character is. You get what I mean? Or am I not being clear?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it's they things fall into their grasp far too easily, and they're able to do everything and anything most of the time. And even if they're not, they can convince or get people to do things for them the same way, because they're the golden one essentially. They're the chosen one in a way. That's another different trope altogether.
Oh, wait. I actually missed one of mine.
Okay, okay, yes, I hate Mary and Gary. I hate all of them, all the Sues. Some of them are entertaining, but I don't know.
What else do you have?
Uh, rejection, affection. I wasn't sure what to call this, and then I found it on TV Tropes Bay. It's when a character, normally played for laughs,
I think I know what it is.
keeps showing up and they're like, want to go out, want to date, wanna fuck, that type of character, constantly up in the main character's face, and the main character either A completely is oblivious to the situation, or they outright reject the person, but they keep doing it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I will say this is played for laughs. It's mostly in comedy, rom com type of situations. Yeah, but it gets
I don't like it.
tiresome,
I've
and
never liked
I've
it in
never
comedies.
liked that character typing either.
It's like in Gintama, the ninja girl. What is her name again?
I can't.
Saru something?
Saru. But again, there it's literally played for laughs because
Right. I
Gintama
never
is a
liked her
gag.
character.
Yeah.
I only started to like her like way, way, way
Yeah.
late.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like even like tolerate her
Like
because I don't like what she does.
we literally go through Gintama and find every trope underneath the sun in that goddamn show
Probably.
because
That
it's a
whole thing is a
gag
parody.
manga. It literally parody.
Yeah.
Like so, yeah. Most of the time, it's done like that. Fine, I guess, but I don't know. I was just
No.
thinking about it. It's still one of those things that just annoys me.
Yeah.
It's
Makes me
just,
uncomfortable.
it's just annoying.
It's like, call the cops on this person, please.
Like the person has said no, and no means no, but that also lead. This trope leads to another one I saw is like yes means no means yes. I was like, oh yeah, pretty much. Because you know what's worse though,
What?
when that character eventually goes out with the person after thousands
Yeah.
and thousands of like
Can I tell you what
being
I
told
equate that
no.
to? What is that syndrome that they call it when you're a kidnapper?
It's not a Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, Stockholm
I
syndrome.
mean, the person
To
just
me,
gives
it's a
in.
kind of Stockholm syndrome.
That the person keeps showing up
Pestering them and oppressing them
and being
and
like,
pushing their feelings on them.
yeah, and then they're just like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Like
To me, they've been so bombarded psychologically that they give in.
yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I hate.
I don't like to see when it turns into an actual relationship because it makes me
It's like that
some
person
kind
has
of uncomfortable
that person
in a
has
way.
no. Most of the time, the person doesn't have any other qualities outside of just being that type of thing. Just being an annoying person who wanted you to go out with
Stalker
them.
person.
Yeah, stalker.
Creepy
Creepy
stalker
stalker.
person.
Wow, what a great idea for a person to date. But as we said, most of the time it's just played for laughs and it's played for a gag.
Sometimes it isn't though.
Most of the time when it isn't, though, it's kind of creepy though.
Yeah, I think it's always creepy. Even if it's they're saying it's a
Yeah.
joke, it always makes me feel not quite right.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Something that we kind of almost discussed before. I
What?
think it was the outer character type of situation, outer character idiot type of thing. When you were talking about Sweet Home, and you said all the characters around, instead of doing something to help the warrior guy, they just sat back and did nothing. Because all the characters decided to not do anything because of drama, because drama needed to happen. This is what
Uh,
I call this. I have it written here: out of character or conflict ball, wherein the characters have been built up to a certain point, and then for like all of a sudden they act out of character just so drama would ensue from that, like that
there was another
situation.
scene in Sweet Home as well.
Does it have anything to do with?
She
Is this another spoiler?
it will be. Let's just say that the character could have attacked on her own, but the scene was made in such a way where they wanted some of the other characters, like the side characters, to be involved in the action at that time because they
Oh,
were
okay.
there.
But they
But
didn't
she
do
could have
anything.
actually taken care of it herself, the badass lady.
So,
But
like I said, the character didn't do anything just so drama would happen.
yeah,
I I kind of hate. I really hate that when
yeah,
a
they
character
act out of
they're out
character.
of character so
Mm,
that a plot point happens.
right.
It's like it's annoying. Want to know the biggest thing?
What?
Let's talk about Game of Thrones after like
Oh my
season 4.
gosh, Miss Sandy. I'm so mad for you. You're not even a real person.
She got her head chopped off for no reason. And I'm never going to talk about the most obvious characters. Well, it is a most obvious character. I'm going to talk about Jamie.
What did Jamie do that was out of character?
You remember at the end of season 7, Jamie is like, he's going to go up to help them fight at the wall, right? And because he's having, like, okay, no, let's stop. Not even season 7. Let's go all the way back to, like, I think season 4 or, yeah, season 4. When Jamie gets his hand cut off and he's with Brienne. And they're making their way back to King's Landing, right? And they're in that tub and they're sitting down and getting cleaned up. And Jamie talks to Brienne about how he killed the last king. But what everybody didn't know was that the king was planning to blow up the entire King's Landing with the green fire,
Right.
right under the
Okay.
thing. So he killed him, and they call him King Slayer. They call him murderer. But he saved literally every single person at King's Landing,
Are you saying that that was
right?
his out of
No, that
character?
is true. Jamie is talking about I saved everyone. I couldn't stand back and essentially let the king kill everyone. But for that they label me King Slayer. And throughout we see his art throughout then when him getting back and he's like he doesn't want anything to do with Cersei. Cersei's getting out of control. He doesn't care. He would rather go and fight and die for the seven kingdoms and never have anything to do with Cersei. But then
But
come
then,
season 8, he says, listen to this, he says this. He says, the small folk, I never cared about them. As like, you built up this character as somebody who was going through the process of like, I need to do something to keep people alive. I need to keep my promise to Ned Stark, widow, and find his daughters. I gave my sword to Brienne, called Oath Keeper for crying out, to so that she can find find the daughters and get them home. Right? I do all of this because I know that I am not the best person, but I'm not a monster. He's like, I'm not a monster. But no, I never cared about the small folk. I never cared for them. I came all the way up to the wall to for no reason, and I'm going to go all the way back down to King's Landing to die with my stupid sister.
I don't even care about all that. But Jamie was wrong for sleeping with Brienne and then leaving.
That was fan service.
That was just
It was
wrong. It
terrible.
should have never happened if he was going to go and dead with
Man,
Cersei.
that's one of those things where everybody knows the writers can't write. That's why it was so bad. And it's one of those situations where many of the characters in that end of that show were out of character
Right, so what's her face burned the whole place down.
because she was going mad and evil
Is
and
that
stuff
so?
like that. That's the reason. She also forgot about the Iron Fleet, even though literally a few moments before she mentions the Iron Fleet. But hey, I guess I don't get paid to write TV shows. Oh God. Anyways, Game of Thrones season 8 and probably a couple of things in from season 5 to 8 have that whole out of character situation
Behavior.
going on.
Okay.
The actors know how their characters would behave better than those people who write. Oh man, I'm just getting mad at Game of Thrones again. I thought it was
Right
over it.
then, right then, right then, right then. There'll be a time for that
Yes.
singularly.
Ah,
I have a trope that I forgot.
shoot.
It was what is it? The unwilling or the reluctant hero?
Oh, that's normally the beginning of like
Right.
the hero's
I
journey,
do
isn't it?
not actually hate this trope, although this trope can be annoying if it
Depending on how
lasts too
long.
long,
Yeah, yeah.
the whole behavior. But I think if I just came to you one day or anyone and said to
Mhm.
you, "Hey Chris, yeah, so you have this ability and apparently you're good the chosen one, you have to save the whole world."
No thanks.
Of course you'd say,
Fuck this shit.
what?
I'm out.
I don't think so. And,
Yeah.
you constantly, any normal person I think would be saying, I don't think so.
It depends on the
No,
person, but
thank
yeah,
you, kind of thing,
yeah. You mean save the
right?
world? What does that entail?
Exactly. Save the
That's
world.
danger. Why do I have to put myself in danger?
Exactly.
Yeah, it depends on the person, but
But
yeah,
I like that
the
trope
reluctant
because
hero
it's I feel it's truly realistic
in a
if
sense.
something like that were to happen.
It depends. Some people are would bounce at the chance to be a hero or
Not me.
whatever.
I can't save you, so don't do anything, that'll
I
get you
like the
in
trope. I
trouble.
like it too when it is done well. I don't like it when it. Well, no, unreluctant hero. You remember Suna from Hitman Reborn?
Yeah, okay. Wow, my God.
Yeah, that's a throwback, isn't it?
That is
That
really.
at the moment you said unreluctant hero, I immediately thought about that because I remember clearly at the beginning of the series and kind of throughout, he never really wants to be in any of those situations at all. He doesn't want anything at all to do.
Mhm.
It's whenever he gets the Vongola bullet thing that he actually fights and stuff like that.
You
Oh,
know what I
oh,
remember when
you
I
want to
think
know
of
what else?
Why do I think, hold on, why do I think that Suna and Iruma are the same? I
They
feel
kind of
like they're
have this.
similar qualities, don't they?
Well, I like I told my friends too is that
Uh,
Irma kind of reminds me of older manga and anime, and it kind of has that comedic feel too at the beginning.
right, so what is it that you wanted to say?
Right. But Reborn. The other thing that I hated about that. Do you know how that show ended? Well, not the show. Do you know how the manga ended?
No.
Suna kind of still the same character
Oh, right. I think you told me about this.
in a way, and it kind of is. It really it feels like the character went through so much nonsense and shit, but then at the very end, he kind it didn't. He felt the same. Maybe it's just the way how it ended. It just ended for a way like a laugh because it was comedic. He still can't confess to the girl that he liked, but at the same time, the, I remember the whole reason why he liked the girl was because she was the first girl to speak to him at school or some nonsense like that. But then, why do you like her so much then, since he barely knows her? But then there were times where he would like, I would die for this girl that I barely know. But then he doesn't have the courage to at least say that he likes her at the end of the manga. You went through so much
You thought that
nonsense.
he would have grown some balls? Is that what you're trying to
Yes,
say?
yes. Like,
Uh-huh.
like it. It felt weird. I get that the whole romance wasn't really the most important part of that show and at all, but it's the weirdest thing. Weirdest thing. Like it's just
That's okay. Is it his whole not confessing? Is that
it's just the most because it's the most remembering. Because I remember at the beginning he behaved this way. You remember whenever he got his powers, he would lose his clothes. You remember that part of the fucking series for the
no?
first 20 or so chapters. Whenever the man got the Vongola bullet, he would lose his goddamn clothes and he would run around his boxers.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that nonsense. And I'm like, I watched this character go through a whole bunch of stuff, travel through goddamn time for crying out loud, actually grow a bit, and then at the end, he's still this kind of cowardly type of kid. I was just like, oh, this doesn't feel like it lines up right for me. I don't know. It's just something that I'm remembering since I brought up Suna when you brought up Unrelenting Hero.
Hmm.
You would think that after all the stuff he's going through, that some amount of confidence or change would build up in the person. Like, legit, like, friggin'
You wanted
annoying.
to see some change in his character and you
Exactly.
didn't, and you were disappointed.
Yeah, because it was the
But all
end.
characters don't
I
change.
know. One of my favorite characters is what you call a round circle, a round character. Not flat, but their development doesn't go very far. Not all characters need character development.
Right.
Yes, I understand that. That is fine. you just think that the main character who's going through most of the stuff would at least change a little bit, you know? Anywho, my last and final trope
Mm-hmm.
for the night is time travel nonsense. The reason why I didn't just put time travel and I put time travel nonsense is because there's many, many different ways to do time travel in stuff. And a lot of them rely on what did Doctor call it? What did Doctor Who call it? Time wobbly wobbly woo space stuff. When he talks about
What?
what's inside the TARDIS, time is just wibbly wobbly woo. That type of shit. But yeah, time travel nonsense. Instances where time travel is used in a story or whatever and it doesn't ugh. Just time travel nonsense. I don't really want to explain. I don't.
Okay.
But it
What
just
kind
came.
of time travel time travel nonsense? What are you saying? Like in Doctor Who again, where the doctor says that you can't you can't change things.
Because fixed points in time. This isn't a new Doctor Who thing. This is a thing that's been Doctor Who forever. Fixed points in
Right,
time.
it's like that in a lot of time travel things where they say that you can't change what
Yes. But
happens.
what's the point then?
You mean of time travel?
Because then you have the whole time travel to the past, don't do anything, or not you're going to mess up the present. Or you time travel in the past to fix something so that you could get to the present, so the present is what it is.
Here's
And
what
then
I
there's the
want to know
whole
though. They put a lot of emphasis on the big things that could be changed. But what if you went back into the past, right? And you
yes.
kicked a can into the street, kind of thing. One small thing can cause huge
Butterfly
things.
effect, that's what it's called.
Exactly. So it's not always like going and changing in like the huge
No, it
points,
doesn't matter about
you
the huge
know?
point. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you see characters go back in time and
And
they're
I'm
like, I'm
sure
gonna.
that characters in Doctor Who and other things have changed things by just walking by. The
Yes.
air was too strong and it did something to a paper and the paper flew, you
I'm
know?
pretty sure there's a bunch of episodes of that like in the Doctor Who. I'm pretty sure there's
Exactly.
a episode where somebody literally does kick a can in the road and it causes a car to get in an accident and kill somebody.
Exactly.
And
You
that person
see?
turns out to like be important or something like that. I don't know. The reason why I put time travel nonsense is because there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it and a lot of stuff just like Doctor Who is time travel fun nonsense. Well, I don't know how the current seasons are to call them fun, but it's like we can do whatever we want except when we can't do whatever we want, and we
Yeah.
or it also has the whole thing where we can do stuff, but it just has to turn out the same way, kinda in the in the present, so that it doesn't change anything important.
What always gets me is like they say that we'll do different things to have the same effect in the present.
Yes.
However, I forgot what I was going to say. Wow. In that instant, it was gone. Wow.
Somebody came back in time and stopped you from saying what you wanted to say, thus leading to this point where you didn't say what you
Yeah, it
wanted to
was
say.
like my words were taken. Wow.
But yeah, time travel nonsense. Well, yeah, that's it for tropes from me, really. I could go
Right?
into
You
time
went
travel
on.
nonsense, but I don't. I can't right now. I'm tired after bitching about these other things. Maybe another time. And we did a
Okay.
bit talk about genres. We'll do that later.
Right. Let's not do that right now.
Final notes, Kim,
Final note?
on any tropes that you wanted to that you spoke about. Anything else extra you gotta add?
No.
Okay.
Do you have anything extra to add?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, toddlers and tiaras.
No.
This has been Ramblin' Tea Time. I hope you guys have a good night.
Good night, everyone.